This experience fundamentally altered me and my perception of the world around me. My name is Emma. This is the story of how my best friend almost destroyed my life, a slow, insidious poisoning of my happiness that I never saw coming until it was almost too late. Sophia and I had been inseparable since our college days. She was always the quiet, modest one, my constant cheerleader, the steady anchor to my more volatile spirit. I, in her narrative, was the bright, extroverted one, the one who always had a date, whose life was a whirlwind of romantic escapades. After every heartbreak, every failed fling, she was there with a consoling word and a cup of tea saying, "Don't worry, Em, he just wasn't the right fit for you." For years, I mistook this for genuine empathy and sisterly concern. I was blind to the truth festering beneath the surface. It turned out her support was not a balm, but a carefully crafted facade for something much darker. The tectonic shift in my life began when I met Owen. He was an architect, not just talented, but deeply intelligent, with a dry wit that matched mine and a kindness that felt like a revelation. With him, for the first time in what felt like an eternity, I experienced a connection that was authentic and profound. It was more than just chemistry, it was a meeting of minds and souls. Bursting with this newfound joy, I did what I had always done. I ran to share it with Sophia. She listened, her face arranged into a perfect mask of a smile, and said the words I wanted to hear. "Finally, a guy who's truly worthy of you." But for a fleeting second, a fraction of a moment, I saw it. A glint of something cold and hard in her eyes, like shards of ice. I quickly rationalized it away, chalking it up to a trick of the light or my own overactive imagination. I was so adept at making excuses for her. The first unmistakable alarm bell sounded during a cozy dinner for the three of us. Owen was passionately explaining the concept behind his latest project, his eyes alight with enthusiasm. Sophia, sipping her wine, chose that moment to casually interject. "Oh, yes, Emma has always had a soft spot for the creative types," she said, her tone sweetly conversational. "Remember that musician you were seeing right before Owen, Em? What was his name? You told me then that you couldn't see yourself ever settling down, that serious commitment just wasn't your style." The air at the table instantly grew thick and heavy with an awkward silence. Owen, ever the gentleman, smoothly pivoted the conversation to a safer topic, but the seed of doubt had been deftly planted. The question now lingered invisibly between us. This was followed by a series of her unsolicited advice, each piece a tiny venomous dart. When Owen excitedly presented me with tickets to a contemporary art exhibit, Sophia was quick to comment, "Oh, are you sure? Emma and I were just saying how modern art feels so pretentious and overrated. You'd have a much better time at that new speakeasy I told you about, the one with the amazing cocktails." When he arrived at my door with a beautiful, thoughtful bouquet of tulips, my absolute favorite flower, Sophia cooed, "Aren't those sweet?" "They're nice, I suppose." "But remember, Em, how your first serious boyfriend used to shower you with long-stemmed red roses every week? Now that was a true romantic gesture. That showed real effort." Slowly, insidiously, I began to feel a knot of insecurity tightening in my stomach. The intimate stories of my past, shared with her in moments of vulnerable friendship, were being weaponized against me. Owen, perceptive as he was, started to notice the strange toxic dynamic. One evening after she had left, he turned to me, his brow furrowed with concern. "Emma, are you absolutely sure Sophia is happy for us, for you? I don't want to overstep, but sometimes it feels like she's deliberately trying to create problems between us, to pick away at what we have." I immediately flew to her defense, my voice laced with indignation. "That's my best friend you're talking about. She's just being protective. She cares about me, that's all." I wouldn't see the truth he was so clearly pointing out. The situation escalated dramatically after a friend's birthday party where I admittedly had one too many glasses of champagne. The next morning, Sophia took it upon herself to call Owen directly. "Hi, Owen, it's Sophia," she said, her voice dripping with fake, honeyed concern. "I just wanted to check in and make sure our Emma is doing okay this morning. She can be a little prone to these kinds of overindulgences, you know. I feel I should mention she had some real struggles with alcohol back in college. It was a bit of a dark time. I just want to make sure history doesn't repeat itself. It was a blatant, calculated lie. I had never ever had any such problems." But Owen had no reason to doubt her. He arrived at my apartment later that day, his face a mask of worry, and what started as a concerned conversation quickly spiraled into our first real blistering argument. He expressed fears that I might not be ready for the kind of serious, stable relationship he wanted. I, feeling attacked and betrayed, screamed that he was being controlling and that he clearly didn't trust me. The air was thick with hurtful words and misunderstanding until, in the heat of the moment, he let it slip. Sophia said. She told me about your past issues. In that instant, my entire world screeched to a halt. A cold, clear realization washed over me. I walked numbly to my computer, my hands trembling as I opened our years-long chat history. I scrolled back through hundreds, thousands of messages, reading them now not with the fondness of a friend, but with the cold, analytical eye of a detective. And there it was, laid out in a devastating, undeniable pattern, the constant, subtle reminders of my every failure and misstep, the backhanded compliments, the tiny, diminishing comments, all cleverly disguised as caring advice, the perpetual juxtaposition of her lonely, stagnant life against the backdrop of my so-called exciting adventures. I had been blind to the campaign of psychological sabotage happening right in front of me. I drove to her apartment without calling, a storm of quiet fury brewing inside me. She opened the door with her usual welcoming smile, which instantly melted away when she saw the stony resolution on my face. You knew, I stated, my voice dangerously calm, devoid of any greeting. You knew that Owen was different, that what we have is something real and special to me. Why? Just tell me why. She began with weak denials, playing the confused and hurt friend, but as I stood there silent and unmoving, her mask finally crumbled. Her face twisted into something ugly and unrecognizable. Because you get everything, Emma, everything, she spat out, her voice trembling with a rage I never knew she possessed. The perfect job that fell into your lap, the perfect friends, the perfect guys who fall at your feet. And what do I have? I am forever the sidekick, the footnote, the secondary character in the dazzling story of your perfect life. I wanted you to feel it just for a moment. I wanted you to feel what it's like to not be so sure, to doubt yourself, to have your perfect little world shaken. I looked at this woman, this stranger contorted by years of hidden envy and resentment, and I felt a profound, eerie calm settle over me. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't cry. I simply looked her in the eye and said with finality, "We are done. This friendship is over. And you need to know this. What I have with Owen is my happiness. It is real and it is mine. And you will never, ever be able to take it away from me." I turned and walked out, leaving her standing in the doorway of the life we once shared. My heart was a frantic drum against my ribs, but my mind was clearer than it had been in years. I had lost a friend, a person I loved like a sister, but in that loss, I had found something far more valuable, the stark understanding that true, healthy friendship can never be rooted in jealousy and cannot survive when it is poisoned by secret resentment. And my Owen came over that very evening. He was standing on my doorstep, holding a fresh bouquet of tulips, his expression a mixture of apology, hope, and unwavering determination. We talked through the entire night, our conversation raw, honest, and healing. We laid everything bare, our fears, our mistakes, our hopes. For the first time, there were no whispered insinuations, no third-party narratives, no invisible walls between us. It was just the two of us, our voices the only ones in the room, rebuilding our trust word by careful word in the quiet, sacred space we had finally reclaimed for ourselves.